Alright, it's time to rattle off a wish list of everything that I want in a potential third season of Total Drama Island. First off, the most important thing is that I would like for them to switch back to the 26 episode format. Last season had a 26 episode format because all of those episodes were just one season, despite it taking place over 2 in-universe seasons. But I'm talking about something like the original 3 seasons where one in-universe season takes up 26 episodes. This leaves room for non-elimination episodes like having reward challenges. Also, there's more room for returning players to re-enter the game and have a lasting impact. And yeah, with this extra screen time, there's just more time for more dynamics to be explored and for characters themselves to be explored. In season 2, while I loved MK and Julia, I've got to say that there just wasn't enough time for Prelude, MK Julia, and everyone else. Those 2 pairings dominated the screen time. One was amazing in MK Julia and one was bad in Prelude, but regardless, those 2 being a big focus kind of stopped other characters from getting development or interesting plot lines. I'm really looking at characters like Lauren, Nichelle, Axel, and Emma that either went out early both times or didn't get a good plotline following season 1, or both. But with 26 episodes, they can still have their screen hogs, they can still have their plot lines that they're really focusing on, but also they can fit in like 4 or 5 episodes about, for example, Lauren and Nichelle bonding or Chase and Millie going at it like a rivalry. Doesn't have to be those specifically, but those are random connections, random side stories that would really flesh out the characters more. But because of the fast pacing of 13 episode seasons, stuff like that would probably get cut out to only focus on the main story, which gives the characters that aren't in the main story very little opportunity to make their mark on the season. Aside from maybe the first 1 or 2 exits, every character can have a satisfying run on a 26 episode season because they'll get a good amount of screen time to work with. Also, a 26 episode season would give more time for plot lines in general to build up so that nothing feels rushed and they can limit the amount of unsatisfying, terribly explained eliminations and conclusions. Some plot lines just can't work with 1 or 2 episodes worth of screen time. Some plots need 6 or 7 episodes to settle in. So that's the big one. Before anything else, I want a 26 episode season for one in-universe season. Next, I want to see them switch back to having alternative endings. Now, it's understandable why they switched to only having one canon ending. Like, it's just one ending that they have to account for, and that makes it easier to write for the next season. Like Caleb and Priya's alliance would be tougher to write if there were multiple endings because the main reason why Caleb wanted to team up with Priya was because she won the previous season, and that's definitive, so that's understandable. I wanted Bowie to win season 1, but him losing wasn't a huge deal. But after I saw Julia lose season 2, then that was it. That's what made me want alternate endings back. Like, it was a good final ruined by a terrible ending. The removal of alternative endings gets even worse because if the finalists are treated like the winners of the past, then that means that they lost and they're never making a final again, never getting a chance at redemption and good closure in the form of winning the game. The only way I'd probably change my stance on this is if losing finalists can make the final again and potentially win. But in the end, more winners means more chances to have a satisfying outcome instead of just going all in on one person that might be hit or miss. Even then, they can make the best and most likable total drama character ever, but they're still going to have haters and critics, so 2 endings will please more people. The 2-winner format wasn't broken at all. There was nothing wrong with it. It was nice to have, and I'd like to see it return. Next, if they don't have any solid, new, and original ideas, then keep the location at the island. I don't want an action or world tour style season. Action wasn't that good, and even this vibrant cast can't add life to the boring film lot and challenges of Total Drama Action. I just won't be able to take another season that's similar to the abomination that was Action. And for World Tour, they've been around the world for that season and for the Redonkulous Race spinoff, so it's been done before. Even though they've already been on an island for a bunch of seasons, the island is the best place because of its simplicity. Seasons like Action and World Tour feel gimmicky, like exploring and learning more about their new location or locations become part of the plot. But the island is just the same old island. There's nothing really that different, and because of that, because of the location not playing a big role in the season, that puts the characters at the forefront. I don't want it to be the season when they went to a movie set or they traveled around the world. I want it to be the season when Ripper and Nichelle became best friends, or when Chase stole Priya from Caleb, or when Scary Girl went full Scarlet and just took over and ran the season. Those are just random examples, but I'm just saying that the characters should be at the forefront, not the location, not the gimmicks. So I'd like to see them keep the series at the camp, especially if the other options are a film lot and a plane flying around the world. Next, I'd like to see them add 3 or 4 new characters just to keep the dynamics fresh. They probably won't need any new characters if they take certain characters out of their boxes, like Caleb only wanting to talk about Priya and no one else. But adding in 3 or 4 new characters would be an easy way to spice up the show and add new dynamics. Also, these new characters aren't going to be writers' pets that are all going to make it to the final 4 just because they're new characters. They're going to have varying levels of depth. 1 or 2 of them would be fodder for the pre-merge, just interesting enough characters to cause some chaos and have some fun moments with them in the pre-merge, then leave. While another one of the characters can probably be a secondary protagonist to the main protagonist that'll be from the original cast. Also, I was kind of thinking of a Blaney style character that's not really competing in the game that much, but they're going to be present throughout the season. I think there's enough to squeeze out 1 more season with the same cast, like tie up some loose ends from season 2 and give some of the weaker characters from that season some redemption. So this isn't a huge priority that needs to happen next season, but if the writers can't think of any interesting stories for someone like Millie to partake in without Priya, then adding new characters would open up the door for more plot lines. I wouldn't mind seeing new characters in season 3, but if they don't get new characters in season 3, then by season 4, the characters are probably going to be pushed to their limit. So at some point, whether it's season 3 or season 4, I want some new characters to be added to the cast just so the show doesn't go stale. And last, I'm getting into some character specific things. I want Priya gone immediately. She's boring, she already won and got Caleb in the end. She was also in every episode of the first 2 seasons and was part of the main plotline in both seasons. She got enough, more than enough, and it's time for someone else to shine. Next, I want to see Emma get a storyline that's not so Chase dependent. Same with Caleb, get something without Priya. Next, I want to see Scary Girl Lauren make the merge and stay for around 14 or so episodes if they go with the 26 episode format. A character like her isn't really meant to win because she's terrible at the game, especially socially. Maybe one of those new characters can be an even bigger weirdo than Scary Girl and act as a shield for her. Or they can be Lauren's best friend to help her advance further in the game. But yeah, Scary Girl is good fun, so I want to see them somehow drag her to the merge phase of the game. Speaking of characters making it further, I want Nichelle to go far, just to see what she's made of, just to see if there's an actual character in her. Next, Bowie is such an amazing character. He's one of those characters like Owen and Duncan that should always find a way to make it far into every season that he's on. So I want him to last a few rounds into the merge. Lastly, for the winner, I want it to be Julia. Players like her, Bowie, and Caleb should still have a chance to win because they lost, and it's not like they're being given a second win. This is redemption. But if it can't be Julia, then scratch that scary girl makes it to the merge stuff. No, I want her to be the main antagonist of the season and win the game. And yeah, that's the wish list. Had fun making this video, and yeah, that's about it.